Stop tweaking your subject lines. Stop rewriting your call to actions, because none of that matters if you're building on a broken foundation. Cold email isn't hard, it's just misunderstood. And that misunderstanding, it's killing your reply rates, burning your domains, and wasting your time. Let me show you what's actually happening to 90% of cold emails before they even reach an inbox. So most cold emailers are treating symptoms while completely ignoring the actual disease. Everybody and their mother talks about subject lines, call to actions, the best cold email templates, but nobody talks about what actually determines success: your data quality. We tested this ourselves. The same copy, the same domain. One campaign used Apollo's data, the other used FindEmail's data. Let me show you what this looks like in action. So this is the exact list that I'm going to be using as an example inside of Apollo. Here's this Apollo data right here. What I did was I pushed this inside of Clay, and then from here, as of right now, we have 9,975 contacts. Apollo only found 6,870 emails right here. After I ran a full validation email column, I validated all 6,870. 889 of these emails actually ended up being invalid. So what that means is if we were to actually send to these leads, we would be getting around a 13% bounce rate, which is absolutely horrible. If we did end up sending to this list without using, a third-party validation tool, our domains, our inboxes would be absolutely fried, and we would never be able to actually deliver our emails to our prospects' inbox. And on top of all that, right now, out of this, let's just say 10,000 lead list, we have around 6,000 valid emails. So this number subtracted by this number, we have around 6,000. Apollo was not able to find emails for around 3,106 of these people. So what you can do is either you can be like most people and essentially just throw away these leads, or you can use this other method that I'm about to show you that can essentially squeeze the rest of this list and get you more valid emails. And the best part about this is these missing B2B emails, it's not only you who don't have emails for these contacts. I'm sure that your competitors are using similar data tools and they're not actually able to find this data. So these are the hidden leads that most cold emailers never have access to. And I'm sure there's a lot of prospects that are in your CRM right now that are actually not even being touched because you don't have their valid emails. So that's because a lot of these data providers are coming up short. Let's go over the method on how to actually solve this. So for these 3,106, and of course these 889 leads right here, that's around 4,000 leads that, before this we would just completely ignore, we would throw away. Since Apollo can't actually find valid emails for these leads, I'm going to use another tool called findemail.com. All it needs right now is the full name and the domain of these people, and then from there it is going to actively try and find their valid emails. It's going to find their email and then it's going to validate it as well. It's essentially 2 in 1. And don't worry if you're overwhelmed. In about 30 seconds, I'm going to show you how to do this inside of the platform, so you don't even need Clay. FindEmail also lets me find valid emails from a personal LinkedIn URL. So right here, essentially what I did is I set up a manual waterfall. First, I used FindEmail based off of this prospect's full name and domain. And then if I actually was not able to find an email address, then I did it off of their LinkedIn URL. And then I combined it into this list right here. FindEmail ended up giving me 2,367 valid emails out of these 4,000 that Apollo, could not even find their email addresses. If you aren't using a tool like clay.com to actually aggregate your data, which is completely normal, what you can do, of course, if you have a CSV, you can just go into the findemail.com platform, go to the bulk from names at the very top, and then essentially just drag and drop your file. Make sure that it is, of course, their full name and then their domain right here, and then just drag it right here. For right here, you can just select the name column and then select the domain/website column as well, and then just click Start Task. You can do this right here. And then for all the emails that you don't actually find, you can just go to bulk from LinkedIn URLs. And then the process is pretty simple. Just put in their personal LinkedIn URL. And then from there, that's essentially going to be the same manual waterfall that I just did inside of clay.com. As soon as you fix this, your bounce rates are going to drop and your reply rates are going to multiply. The reason, it's not because of your copy and it's not because of your offer. It's because of your data. And guys, we're not the only ones seeing this. If you search on Reddit, G2, or Trustpilot, cold emailers everywhere are saying the same thing. One Apollo user actually reported an 80% bounce on one of their campaigns. Another said that their verified emails still bounced around half the time. Users are saying that they're emailing people who left the company years ago, who retired. A few even described wasting their domains, their budgets, and weeks of their time because they're trusting big companies with their verification tools. So if you have been stuck wondering why your campaigns are just completely failing, you are not alone and you are not crazy. Because let's break this down. When you hit send on a cold email, it has to pass through multiple invisible checkpoints. Each one looks for signs of spam, bounces, or risk. And if your data is bad, your message is going to get blocked, filtered, and flagged because you've been bouncing so many times. Every single bounce makes a massive dent in your sender reputation. We had one client come to us after they burned 30 domains. They were using verified contacts from these large companies, ZoomInfos, the Apollos, the Lucias. But when we rechecked them, around 32% were either high risk or completely invalid. Here's how I usually think about email verification. It's essentially like airport security. Bad data is trying to board with a completely fake ID. Some get caught, some get through, but once one does get caught, your whole flight is going to get flagged, which is your emails. So what's the fix? It's not another tool and it's not better copy. It's a foundation first approach. So there are 3 levels of email verification. Level 1 is called syntax check, like checking if your ID looks legitimate at a quick glance. Level 2 is the mail server check. This is like confirming if your ID is real and if it was actually issued by a real government agency. And then there's level 3, which is called deep validation. This is like airport security calling the government to verify your identity in real time. Most tools, including Apollo, stop at level 1. And that's simply not enough. Fine email goes to level 3 every single time. Because here's the truth. A simple email with great data will always beat brilliant copy with bad data. Good data means you're going to hit the inbox, which increases your reputation, which increases your replies, which also affects compounding results. Let me give you something you can use right now to see. Here's a simple formula to determine if your data is killing your campaigns. Divide your total bounces by your total sends, and then times that by 100, that's your bounce rate. Anything over 5% is actively damaging your sender reputation. And unfortunately, the industry average is about 15 to 20% for most cold emailers. That means that most people are literally destroying their own results with every single send. So check your bounce rate right now. If it's over 5%, you have a data problem, not a copy problem. If you'd like to shortcut every single thing that we just walked through, click the link in the description and book a 5-minute bounce rate rescue with our team. Here's what you'll get. We'll run your contacts through our enterprise grade verification. We'll identify what exactly is killing your deliverability, show you specifically which emails are safe to send to. No fluff, no pressure, just clean data on helping solve your data bottlenecks. You'll walk away knowing whether your list is your biggest asset or your biggest liability. So click the link below to book. Spots are limited. Lock yours in if you're serious about fixing cold email once and for all. Thanks, and we'll see you in the next one.